Is Steve Rogers liberal or conservative? As Captain America, he is quite literally one of the oldest superheroes ever and one of its most influential. So let's see what ideology he protects behind that shield. Steve Rogers has been a symbol of American patriotism since his debut as Captain America in the 1941 comic book. So that's where that whole punch a Nazi in the face trend started.
Punch some people in the face! Punch some people in the face! In the face!
His iconic shield has become one of the most recognizable superhero symbols ever, and as one of the main characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Captain America will continue to be a fan favorite for generations to come. Steve Rogers was originally created to inspire Americans during World War II, and has remained a symbol of American values ever since. It's clear that Cap was made to inspire us, so for a guy that was built to be an inspiration of the American way, I think it's time we find out if he's actually more liberal or more conservative. So look, there's almost 80 years of history involving Steve Rogers. This includes comic books, dozens of cartoons from different generations, old black and white movies, and even movies that you probably didn't even know about. And it's probably best that we don't even talk about those.
Mr. President! Thanks.
For the sake of this video, it makes sense to make the focus of our assessment on the most modern and culturally significant take on the character, which is Chris Evans' portrayal in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there's a possible spoiler warning here for those who might not be caught up on all the MCU movies yet, so if you want to watch the rest of those before you watch the rest of this video, have fun! To assess a character's ideology, we're going to need to focus on three key elements, which is personality, motive, and arc. And look, I'm not here to discuss politics with anybody, I'm only interested in the ideology of the character, so for anybody out there who wants to pretend that they're actually going to change someone's mind by sharing their political views, at least videotape it so we can laugh at you later. Personality. Steve Rogers is an all-American guy from Brooklyn who seems to get bullied a lot.
One man. Rogers!
In the first Captain America film, he is selected to become the first biologically advanced super soldier based on his displays of courage, good morals, and heart. Technically, he's the second super soldier because the main villain was the first, but you know, second time's a charm, right guys? With good morals on his shoulders and a military background, he unofficially becomes the leader of the Avengers crew and likes to keep them in check with their language.
Language!
Steve, you said a bad language word.
Beneath all the heroics, Steve is actually kind of a shy guy and awkward with others, especially the ladies.
Beautiful, a woman, an agent, not a dame. You are beautiful, but...
Nonetheless, he's a gentleman in most cases. Keep in mind that Steve is from the 1930s and 40s, so despite his attempts to adapt to more cultural references, he still keeps the same principles no matter what time period he's currently living in. I mean, it takes some strong convictions to have the same suit for 80 years.
Aren't the stars and stripes a little old-fashioned?
He's the definition of old-fashioned, so if we're gonna judge his personality, I'm gonna say it's a little more conservative. Motive. Steve's compassion to become a soldier comes from a sense of duty, doing what is right, and you guessed it, stopping bullies.
I don't like bullies.
As Captain America, he does everything he can to promote American patriotism while at the same time trying to set a good example of leadership. The biggest struggle Steve has is his grappling with the moral ethics of his superiors and colleagues when it comes to policy and tactics.
This isn't freedom. This is fear.
S.H.I.E.L.D. takes the world as it is, not as we'd like it to be.
Steve actually kind of acts like a vigilante in some of the films because he believes in protecting justice and freedom at any cost.
If I see a situation pointed south, I can't ignore it.
Outside of these motivations, it's hard to say that he's actually motivated or excited by much of anything else. I mean, he turned down a possible romance with the hottest member of the Avengers.
Who do you want me to be?
How about a friend?
Cap, what are you doing? Steve's main motivation of stopping bullies is more grounded in being a free individual than a loyal government soldier by the time we get to the film Captain America: Civil War.
We may not be perfect, but the safest hands are still our own.
As a man who has consistently fought for freedom at all costs, including fighting his own government, I'm gonna chalk that motivation up to being more conservative. Arc. As the once puny kid who got injected with some magical blue stuff, the original film focuses on Steve becoming Captain America, the super soldier who must use his jacked muscles to stop Nazis. After he wakes up in modern times, he joins the Avengers and struggles with not only dealing with their differing personalities, but how to survive the modern world. I mean, I'd be struggling too if the first piece of advice that someone gave me was to catch up on I Love Lucy reruns and to watch Rocky 2 instead of Rocky 4. Come on, people! The arc that is very prevailing for Captain America throughout the series is his trust and allegiance to his own government. By the time we get to the end of Civil War, he's being hunted by his government for acting without oversight, and the same is true when we see him again in Avengers: Infinity War. Hey look, he grew a beard. Steve Rogers has held on to his principles of right and wrong throughout the series, but there's no denying that he's changed throughout the series. Not just his appearance, but his allegiance to his government, and also to some of his friends. So if I'm looking at both aspects of this, I'm gonna say the arc is a little bit of both. So with a final score of 1-3, I'm thinking Steve Rogers is actually more conservative. After all, he was originally created to represent a symbol of traditional American values. He's strong, he's stoic, he takes down evildoers, he wears patriotic colors, and he fights for truth, justice, and the American way. But enough about Superman.
What are you looking at? Huh?
This is just my opinion, so if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more videos like this.